Dear students, now we are going to discuss phloem transport, transportation of food material, organic solutes, or carbohydrate translocation through the phloem. Simply phloem transport. So phloem is concerned with the transportation of various materials. We'll see what are they. Phloem transport, transportation of organic solutes, transportation of organic solutes, translocation, location of organic solutes, phloem transport. Okay, so what are the major components or materials transported by phloem? What are they? Okay, so phloem is rich in, means what are the materials? The major part of phloem transport includes water and sucrose. Carbohydrates are translocated in sucrose form. Sucrose is a disaccharide. So major component of phloem transport is water, sucrose, and other negligible amount of other sugars, other carbohydrates, monomers, hormones, trace amount only, hormones, and various inorganic components. But major part is water and sucrose. So before entering into mechanism of phloem transport, we should know what about the direction of transport. So direction of phloem transport. Definitely that is bidirectional. Unlike xylem transport. Okay, so how to understand bidirectional transport? So for example, source. What is that source? Source is a photosynthetic part. Photosynthetic part. For example, leaf. The major photosynthetic part is a leaf. So here source means that is able to synthesize carbohydrates. Synthesis of carbohydrates, food material, by means of a photosynthesis. So now carbohydrates are transported into sink part. So what is a sink part? Utilizing part, consuming part. Okay, so carbohydrates are translocated into sink. That sink is that is able to utilize or in need of food. Okay, so consuming one or storage organ. That may be storage organ also, storage route. So according to this, it is unidirectional. In this case, if it is from leaf to root. But in some cases, For example, storage route and photosynthetic routes. Storage route. So whatever the food reserved in storage route is remobilized or re-exported into young tissues, various parts also during rainy season or spring season, early growing season. So here it is unidirectional, together bidirectional. So here source and sink variable changes are possible. So that's why downward possible, downward movement possible, upward movement possible. So that's why bidirectional movement, unlike a xylem. In the case of xylem, unidirectional only within the xylem. In both the cases, if they take exit from both phloem and xylem, the transportation of any material except hormones, chemical stimuli, rest of the molecules, inorganic, other organic components are moved in multidirectional manner except hormones, chemical stimuli. Within the xylem, unidirectional. Within the phloem, bidirectional. Outside vascular tissues, movement of any material except hormones is multidirectional, right? So that's about the introduction part of phloem transport. Here, source and sink is important. So according to our knowledge, phloem is concerned with translocation of food. Okay, so how to demonstrate? What about the mechanism of phloem transport? Like a bulk flow, mass flow, which is able to transport water, minerals, and food also. It was given there under the heading bulk flow, n mass movement, that is concerned with the movement of water, minerals, and food. So it also take same theory, that is a pressure flow hypothesis or mass flow hypothesis. Both are same. Pressure flow or mass flow. Pressure flow or mass flow. This is also called as mass flow. Both are same. Mass flow by Munch, scientist name. So according to pressure flow hypothesis, the driving force is concentration gradient, pressure differences, not concentration, pressure gradient, pressure differences. Okay, so for example, this is a phloem part. This is a sieve tube I'm taking. Sieve tube part. Okay, so here so-called sieve plates are present. So this one is a sieve tube. Okay, so sieve tube. Next one is this one. Here I'm taking, sieve tube and companion cells. Go back to anatomy. Companion cell. Sieve tube and companion cells are twins. They are developed from same mother cell. Okay, so this is a phloem part. Take these two enough. Next, xylem part. So this one is a xylem part. Okay, so this is a leaf lamina. So definitely sink source part, sorry. And this one is root. For example, this one is root part. Okay, right? So in the presence of light, leaf is able to manufacture or able to synthesize carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are produced. Glucose is produced. For transportation, that glucose must be converted into sucrose. For example, this is a mesophyll cell, palisade parenchyma or spongy parenchyma. Mesophyll. So from there, sucrose is transported. So this is a formation of sucrose. From there, it is transported into companion cell. Now it is available within the companion cell. Here, mechanism is active transport. Active transport. Now, that sucrose. This one is this red color arrow indicates the direction of movement of sucrose. A disaccharide. Carbohydrates are always transported in sucrose manner only, sucrose form only. So now, yes, here I'm using yes, sucrose. Now sucrose is transported into sieve tube. That is also active transport. So actively sucrose is transported from mesophyll to companion cell to sieve tube. Active mechanism. So once more amount of sucrose is accumulated within the sieve tube, what about the concentration of solute there? More. Now water potential value will become, water potential negative value will become more negative, water potential less when compared with the xylem. So now water is passively transported into sieve tube. So water is passively transported into sieve tube. So because of entry of water molecules, a positive hydrostatic pressure is created within the sieve tube. That is called as osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure is created within the sieve tube. Okay. So companion cell plays an important role in the creation of a so-called pressure gradient. More pressure here, less pressure here. In root, for example, low osmotic pressure. Low osmotic pressure. Here, more osmotic pressure. More pressure, less pressure. So definitely, what about the direction of transportation of sucrose to the sink part where so-called osmotic pressure is very less. So once sucrose is available, what about the movement from so-called sieve tube to companion cell? Okay, companion cell to utilizing part, whatever the utilizing part. See, what about the direction of movement from sieve tube to companion cell to sink. For example, sink is root here. Here also active transport and here also active transport. Loading, unloading, active transport. Okay. So once sucrose is vacated, what about the pressure and what about psi W values are increased? Now water is passively transported into xylem to run the action again and again. So this is about in the case of root sink part. You can take a bud also. In the case of a bud, for example, this is youngest bud. Here also same mechanism. So for example, this one is a sieve companion cell and the sieve tube. And this one is a xylem, for example. And this one is sink part. This is a sink part, bud part. Okay, so food is transported like this. Okay, so this one is a sieve tube, companion cell, and utilizing part. Here also, what about a direction of movement? Sieve tube to companion cell. Now taking exit from companion cell to sink part. So once sucrose is vacated, what about the psi W value increased? Now water is going back to xylem to run the reaction again and again. Okay, right? So that's about pressure flow hypothesis. Simple thing, simplest explanation. Transportation of sucrose from mesophyll to companion cell, from companion cell to sieve tube by means of active transport. Once sucrose is accumulated within the sieve tube, okay, negative psi W value is created. Water potential value is very less. Now, water from xylem vessels or tracheids is transported into sieve tube. Because of that, a positive hydrostatic pressure is created, osmotic pressure. Because of that, it is able to drive that sucrose along with water and other materials to the sink part where a low osmotic pressure is present. Once sucrose is vacated, what about the psi W value of phloem increases? Now water is going back to xylem to run the reaction again and again. So that's about a so-called pressure flow hypothesis, right? Next. So this is a real diagram. And what about now? I'm taking dummy one. This is not real one, the dummy one. So this is a beaker 1 and beaker 2. Two beakers are there. And these two are connected. Okay, so this one is a source. This one is source weight. And this one is, okay, so this one is A part I'm taking, or you may take B part also. This one, A part. Source means photosynthetic part. Okay, next. This is a phloem part. Phloem. This red colored one is a phloem. Very simplest explanation. And this one is sink part. Source, sink, utilizing part. And this one is with water. This one is with water means definitely xylem. This one is a xylem. Xylem part. Okay. Go back to source part. Source means synthesis of sucrose. This is a dummy one, not the real one. With the help of this, you can understand what I explained before this one. So now sucrose is formed here. Source part. Now sucrose is added to phloem by means of active transport. Okay, so now this is xylem part. Now water is transported from xylem into phloem part. So now OP values rise, osmotic pressure. So now phloem sucrose into sink part. At the sink region, what about osmotic pressure? Low osmotic pressure. So food is vacated or absorbed by sink. Now, what about water into the xylem. Okay, so here once sucrose is vacated from sink, the water is coming back to xylem to run reaction again and again.